be a calf strain. His coach, Zach Taylor, said the quarterback will be out for several weeks. No specification on if he'll miss actual games. Burrow, obviously one of the great young quarterbacks in the league. Sam Acho back here with us as well with RC and Stephen A. Sam, will Burrow be the best quarterback in the AFC North this season, or would it be Lamar Jackson?
I think it'll be Joe Burrow, and part of the reason why is everything you've seen him do in college, he's done here. And what do I mean by that? Not only going to championships and winning them, right? He's on the precipice of that, but he rallies people around him. Orlando Brown left Kansas City, left tackle, one of the best left tackles in the game, to go and block for Joe Burrow. You see Jamar Chase. Man, Jamar Chase is coming to that team. Remember, Burrow's like, man, I want him on my team. Boom, brings him. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, all these pieces, running backs are taking pay cuts to go and play for Joe Burrow and with Joe Burrow. And so for me, I think he'll be the best based off of not only what he's done the last 2 years, obviously a Super Bowl appearance and an AFC Championship appearance, but also like the way he rallies people around him. Like there's so much, I don't know if security is the word, but confidence, right? Like I have a high confidence level in what he's done statistically the last 2 years, 35 touchdowns last year, 34 the year before, but also confidence level in what's around him and how he's going to be a consistent high performer. So that's why I think it's going to be Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the AFC North.
You know what? If Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the AFC North, I'll be happy. I always love to see Tigers excel. But Sam Acho, you're wrong. Because it's going to be Lamar Jackson. I agree with you. The things we saw Joe Burrow do in college, we're watching him do those in the NFL, which is win football games and throw the ball to Jamar Chase because we saw it happen right down the street in Baton Rouge. But are we forgetting what Lamar Jackson has been? Are we forgetting that Lamar Jackson has already won an MVP, that he took a team that was struggling under Joe Flacco in his rookie season and made them a playoff team? That now Lamar Jackson has Odell Beckham Jr. and Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman and J.K. Dobbins? That Todd Monken is now the offensive coordinator? Are we forgetting that we watched this dude turn the NFL into a playground on his way to winning the MVP? Lamar Jackson has never in his life, and I know we're going to go, oh, but what about the playoffs, Ryan? Stephen A is going to be like, well, I saw the playoffs and I had my pink shirt on looking like Huggy Bear and I remember it. Lamar Jackson is a flat-out baller. Lamar Jackson revolutionized the position and now has an opportunity to take the field with the best supporting cast he's ever had. Lamar Jackson is going to obliterate the record books as it comes to being a dual-threat quarterback this year and be the best quarterback in the AFC North.
Sounds like wishful thinking for me more than expert analysis. I just wanted to throw that out there. Sounds like it's rife with emotion, but that's okay. That's okay because Lamar Jackson is worthy of such praise and hyperbole. And it may not be hyperbole because he may very well live up to it. He has that capability. On a serious note, fellas, I want to go left for a second by saying this. Deshaun Watson, have you noticed no one's talking about you? The last time we saw Deshaun Watson, the last time, no, but let me say why it's not a good thing. I know it's a good thing off the field. Please, I'm not even going there. It's a good thing that we ain't talking about the off the field stuff. I'm strictly talking about on the field. Deshaun Watson, the last time we saw him in a full season, he completed 70% of his passes. He threw for over 4,800 yards. He had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. And nobody's talking about you, the football player. What that says to me is that what we saw last year, even though you had clearly been gone for a year and a half, clearly people only saw a shell of you. The fact that you got a $230 million contract and all we talk about is Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson, I'm sorry. I know you've been gone, but Deshaun Watson, elevate your level of play and get back in the mix, my brother, because let me tell you something. We know what you have done. You got to remind the world you could do that again. Having said all of that, I'm going to flow with Joe Burrow and Sam Acho's selection here, RC, for this reason. We got a guy in Joe Burrow that's completed more than 69% of his passes over the last 2 seasons, that has thrown for over 9,000 yards the last 2 seasons, that has got like 69 touchdowns and 26 interceptions over the last 2 seasons. And oh, by the way, was in the Super Bowl and then the AFC Championship.
And the AFC Championship.
Now, here's where it really, really resonates for me. The first year, his first season, he got injured. So the only 2 years he's been in the NFL healthy for the season, he was in the Super Bowl and AFC Championship game. Now, I understand it ain't all Lamar Jackson's fault. Now, I understand that people are blowing it up a little bit too much, bringing up his lack of playoff success. He's got one playoff victory, and that's all, and I get all of that. And he certainly had a bad moment his first time in the playoffs against the Chargers. We know how awful he was for those first 3 quarters. We get all of that, okay? But what I'm saying is forget that part. Focus on Joe Burrow, RC. 2 seasons. Forget the record. Get his rookie year when he got hurt. 2 seasons in the NFL.
Yeah.
Out of your program, LSU, left Ohio State to come to LSU, your program, okay? When you sitting up there, he competing with Trevor Lawrence for a national championship on the line, and you on Get Up gave one of the great motivational speeches to the LSU Tigers while Marcus Spears, Swagoo, got in his knees and prayed and talked about what Pastor Clark brings to the world when he brought to LSU. This man played for your program, wins a national championship, outplays Trevor Lawrence in doing it, gets drafted #1 overall, comes into the NFL, gets hurt, comes back, Super Bowl appearance, comes back, AFC Championship game, and they might have won the game if they hadn't messed up in special teams late in the game. That's Joe Burrow. And a LSU Tiger, who, by the way, still lives down in that area, who, by the way, still goes to the games, brings his pivot crew to the games with them, all right? All of this stuff going on, and you're telling me you're going with Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow? Blasphemous.
RC, what do you think about this Patriots team? Do you expect Mac Jones to make a big leap this season?
Absolutely. I expect Mac Jones to be better than he was in year 1. Also, too, how can he get worse than last year? He was benched for Bailey Zappi. Like, there is no going backwards from that. Backwards from that is out of the NFL. Backwards from that is a backup on another team with a franchise starter. You get Bill O'Brien to replace Matt Patricia. You're now going into the season with someone that's competent as an offensive coordinator. You add Juju Smith-Schuster, which I think is a very underrated move. Think about when these Patriot offenses have been extremely good. It's been about that slot receiver, whether it's Edelman, Amendola, Wes Welker. I know Juju Smith-Schuster has a different skill set, but he operates mainly in that slot. And now Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki bring you back to the days of the 2 tight end formations for the New England Patriots. I expect him to take a leap, because if he doesn't take a leap, then everybody's getting fired but Bill Belichick. We have to watch Mac Jones return to who he was in year 1, but elevate and ascend from there, and I believe that he will. This will be Mac Jones' best year in the NFL.
Let me throw some numbers by you, because I appreciate the point that you made, is that he can't get much worse. And that is absolutely true. And Bill O'Brien being there, congratulations to Bill O'Brien. He's finally going to be viewed as a savior, accurately so. We know he wasn't that as a head coach in Houston. We know he wasn't that as an offensive coordinator in Alabama. We know he wasn't that at Penn State, even though he did a good job at Penn State. The bottom line is that this is a situation where he is viewed as a savior, because the real crime was committed not by Mac Jones, but against Mac Jones, by the great Bill Belichick, who we all respect and revere. We know what a phenomenal coach and football mind he is. But what Bill Belichick doesn't realize, and I'm going to bring the attention of this to everybody, because I think everybody's missing it. The reason why Bill Belichick looked so bad last year. You got Matt Patricia, who's a former defensive coordinator in New England, who became the head coach in Detroit and did a horrendous job. That's why he's back in New England. We got Joe Judge, who was a special teams coordinator. He was just in over his head as a head coach, and then he got good with the New York Giants, and now he's back in New England as well. Those were your offensive coordinators and play callers last season in New England. You did Mac Jones a complete injustice. Ryan, you've forgotten more football than I'll ever know, and you know I'm right. You can't put a young quarterback in that position. First of all, you wouldn't put an experienced veteran quarterback in that position. So why would you do it to a guy in his second year? That was criminal. And the reason why it's so criminal, because now it reminded you of Tom Brady basically being pushed out by Bill Belichick. And I'm going
Right.
to say that because you're talking to somebody that knows a few people up in New England. And I'm telling you right now, if Bill Belichick had stated he wanted Tom Brady to stay, Robert Kraft and them would have made sure that Tom Brady never departed for Tampa Bay. But Bill Belichick wouldn't do it. So Tom Brady moved on. That's on Bill Belichick. And so when you look at that and then you see what he did last year, that's what makes it look so bad for Mac Jones. There's nowhere to go but up. We know that he will with Bill O'Brien. The reason why I'm not as high on the big leap as you are, Ryan, is because of who he's going against within the division. Miami, the New York Jets, and the Buffalo Bills. I expect New England to go 1-5 or 0-6 in the division this year. I don't believe they're going to win more than one game within their division because I think those other three teams are that formidable. But the last point I want to throw, because you weren't here yesterday when I gave out these numbers, so I'm going to give it out again. The Patriots have used 4 different starting quarterbacks in 3 seasons since Tom Brady departed. They were combined 25-25. Mac Jones was 16-15. Cam Newton was 7-8. In 28 seasons as the head coach with the Patriots and the Browns, Bill Belichick has won 77% of his games, regular season, with Tom Brady, 47% of those games without him. And last but not least, Mac Jones. His completions have been to 19 different New England Patriot targets in his NFL career. None have made a Pro Bowl. His main targets at Alabama, mind you, included Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Najee Harris. He ain't had nothing like that in the National Football League with the New England Patriots. So not only are you putting him in a position where he doesn't have the proper coordinators really overseeing his level of production, you're not even putting the offensive pieces around him to help him flourish, despite his deficiencies or his inabilities because of the situations that he's in. You are Bill Belichick. You have completely screwed this kid over until right now. Bringing Bill O'Brien in there was the best thing that could have happened to Mac Jones. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.